In this video, I'm going to be talking with you about a less commonly spoken of starseed, and this would be starseeds from Alpha Centauri. I'm going to be talking in this video about different traits, and I'm going to be channeling some information specifically that comes up from Alpha Centaurians that they would like to be known or discussed. And I'm going to show you also how you can find out if you are connected to this particular galactic race and see what other fun information comes through. That said, if you are new to stumbling upon one of my videos, I want to say hello. My name is Cassandra DM. I am a certified galactic astrologer and I'm a galactic trance channeler. So a lot of the information shared in this video today is going to be coming from my not only my own research and studies and my certification, but also in my client sessions and what has come up, and then of course the channeled information that comes through. So let's get started. Now, as I said, this is a race that is less frequently spoken of. I'm going to start off by sharing some of the things that I notice commonly come up. Now, when we're talking about Alpha Centaurians, the history, it's important to understand that the race here sort of evolved from our galactic history of the Lyrans. And after the Lyran War, a lot of Lyrans came to different parts of, the solar system and have colonized and evolved and grown. If you wanted to find out a little bit more about our galactic history to kind of really put everything into context, I want to be sure to share a couple videos with you. You might want to check out. One would be this video here. And this kind of goes into the very beginning of our galactic origins with group consciousness. And then also you can check out this video, which goes into the beginning of incarnation and the Lyrans, among many other star races that then proceeded with that. So check those out. But generally speaking, I just want to share that the journey started with basically Lyran beings who, when their homes were destroyed, they kind of set out to explore and colonize in different other locations. And Alpha Centauri would have been one of them. So I'm going to connect later to more about their physical appearance, but let's talk now about some of their traits. So the first thing I'd say in my records and my client sessions that I've found common in Alpha Centauri is sort of this theme, I would say, that is often related around leadership or an over, I would say, qualified aspect of some sort. This sense of natural gift, ability, and talent that then results in a theme of assisting others or being, the reluctant leader or being put in positions of authority, and then this sort of journey of, and it depends on the individual soul's experience, but either feeling like I have to this because I'm qualified, I'm, the right man for the job. And then there's this sense of, well, is this really what I want to do? Or is this really the path I want to take? Or a sense of responsibility and I have to, or I must. And there can be a story arc here of going from a feeling of I must to I choose. So there's often this essence that kind of comes up, and a lot of my client experiences connected here to where these are naturally gifted individuals often. These are people that have a natural charisma to them. They're getting noticed, they're being called out, they're being volunteered or elected or selected for, that predominant role, that special theme. This can be a theme. And so when we're talking about it in the sense of star seed content, I would say that you in this life may be someone that, yes, feels naturally gifted or has a natural draw that's your talents are seen. You stand out in some way. I also know that they can be perceived in excelling athletically. Also, I've noticed in my records of common themes that there tends to be this energy of observation or study. Sort of like if you are someone that is excelling in this leadership position or a place of recognition, part of the gift of that is the ability to be able to see from a variety of different lenses or angles. So I find that in my client sessions, a lot of times there can be a theme of observation or study. Now, I know that there is information out there regarding technology. For me personally, in my client sessions, I hear a lot more of scientific perspectives or scientific study. So I think this is a good moment where I'm going to just take a second to kind of connect deeper with this energy frequency and see if I can get some channeled information regarding this. Because, like I said, this is something I know is spoken of frequently, but I tend to hear more or feel more frequency connected to observation and science than I do, technology specific. So I'm just going to take a moment to kind of tune in. So what I'm feeling come up is there can be an interest in technology, but what I'm feeling they're saying is it's not within an unusual realm, is the words. Okay, so interpreting that into more digestible language is it's like it's only within the realm of interest. It's not, it wouldn't necessarily be something that I'm feeling they're saying as a characteristic of like, yes, we are technology like heavy focused. Like, for example, I'm hearing right now Tau Ceti, which I haven't spoken much of them, and the Palladians, especially in their earlier evolution. These star seeds could be more focused on technology. Where their interest is in a more complete scope of observation, of science, of what I'm hearing is it can be specific to in relation of how things are changing. That's another thing they're saying is those that have had past lives in Alpha Centauri are individuals that can also sense change approaching. I'm hearing they can also know when change is necessary, which is why they often are in positions of leadership or being seen. The charisma, persuasive, in the sense of they are capable of being seen as, oh, it's kind of like the energy I'm getting is it's like, oh yeah, that person knows what they're talking about. So, if we're selecting the change maker, like it's them. Yeah, they know sort of energy that's coming through. So the interest often in study of science is in relation to collective and environmental frequency. Now, they're also sharing with me that while they're also in the constellation, there's Beta Centauri or Hadar, which I've done a video on. You can view that video here. The difference I'm feeling is where the Hadarians are very connection oriented. What I'm hearing the Alpha Centaurians say is they're very um gosh, the word just slipped. One is connection oriented, change oriented. They are edge walkers. I'm hearing edge walkers, like system disruptors. These are free, they're like, yes, yes, yes. These frequencies, um, are more their speed. So when they're talking in relation to observation, science, a study, things of this nature, it often, oh, and they're correcting me, they're always related. It's interesting to channel and get guidance this way. Sometimes that'll happen where I'll feel it and I'll say something. They're like, no, 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 not the exact word. So they're saying it always is related around change or evolution, forward motion. This is where we're going. This is the adjustment in some form or another. And I'm just kind of peeking at my notes, generally speaking. So with this, they're passionate, they're ambitious. There also can be a sense of exploration or exploring. And this is also, once again, different from the Hadarians, and it is more in the frequency of learning where how do they do it differently? How can this be? Where can I implement new ways, more effective? All of these are their frequencies, where Beta Centauri is more connection. How can I expand through heart energy, loving acceptance, extending home? Where Alpha Centauri's energy, they're very much showing there's a lot of leadership qualities. There's a lot of progression. They like that word. Yes, progressive or progression is very much aligned with their frequency. I'm also in my both my chart studies and what I'm picking up is there with this progressive way of being, they can often be seen as ahead of their game, or also in terms of spirituality, it can be this sense of, yeah, I already know that. It's like things that kind of come naturally. They can be like spiritual anchors. Once again, a lot of predominant leadership, stability, very much a lot of this energy. I'm hearing it's like also um, it can have like a Capricorn or Taurian energy of like once they have their mind set, it's like, this is where I'm going. This is how we're going to do it. Kind of very fixed energy is what I'm feeling. And they're saying go back to the story arc. So I feel like this story arc is relevant. And I'm asking them to give me more information because the story arc they're referring to is feeling this essence of being called out, overqualified, naturally recognized. With this, also, they're saying incarnations this lifetime that are connected in predominant placements, especially what I'm hearing them say. If you have connections to Alpha Centauri in your natal astrology chart that are related to, I'm hearing first, second, 11th house specifically. It's funny because they didn't say 10th house, which would be my go-to, but explain it, they said. Okay, so what they're saying is if you have connections to Alpha Centauri in these houses, there is potential for recognition or success or like influencers of fame can be anything related to progressive. They're saying again, motion forward and recognition. So they want me to be specific. Wow, they are very leadership like quality. So this was not intended to be an astrology video, but they're saying be specific. So they said second house. This is themes around value, how you earn money, what you value. There can be an influence here in because this is kind of in the most mundane sense of it, like where I make my money. If you have connections here, it could equal successful because once again, has that recognition quality to it. Success as it relates to monetary for the purpose of being seen or being contributing is a word I'm hearing them say in some fashion or another. towards what you share in life. Two, they're saying this, the first house, this is personal recognition. So this is significant, also associated with potential themes of success, influence, influential, because they're reminding me they are very charismatic. So what I'm hearing them say is these could be like signposts that say, okay, you're here, your soul has a purpose, or an intention it wishes to experience, that contributes in some way. So the first house is you, how others see you. So this can kind of, what I'm hearing, shine a spotlight on these gifts and abilities and talents, which equal influential positions. And then the other one they said 11th house related to seen publicly on large scales, community, organizations. This is also, they said, the house of fortune. So with this, there can be also an influence of possible, like a large audience. You might, whatever you do, reach a large group of people. So that's interesting. So that's one thing they want to share regarding this story arc. Now, going layers deeper to this, what they're saying is there can be this theme of recognition and responsibility versus feeling like it results in a pressure, or it results in I have to, it results in a feeling of I have to be kind of in performance mode, or I have to know everything, or I have to kind of be at the top of my game, or I'm going to let people down. Or it can be the weight or burden of responsibility because of your talent. So in this life, you may notice themes in these areas. You may feel a sense of pressure, as it, and there also, I just heard athletic pressure, which is very nuanced. So, I'm feeling this could equally be a placement that is supportive to like professional athletes. So there can be the pressure of performance. And so these can be possible themes in this life. And what I'm feeling is each soul's journey is unique and different. So I'm not feeling like there's this over encompassing narrative that they're saying this is the end result where you're meant to go, because it's going to vary based on your personal past life experiences and your soul journey with Alpha Centauri. But they want this information to be known. For those that can feel into this, you may want to do more further connection or exploration of the past lives you have in connection to this. Or if you're familiar with astrology, keep watching, because towards the end of the video, I'm going to show you how you can pull your galactic astrology chart, and understanding the house placement, in different aspects might give insights into that. Or you, of course, if you resonate with me, I would love to read for you to explore that deeper. Okay, so they say that's it for that story arc, that they want to mention. Okay, a few other things here in my notes that, if you are a Alpha Centaurian starseed, this life, there can be sort of a mission-based incarnation. I feel like that kind of really goes into what we just spoken of. There can be ease of access to high honor, which goes into some of the stuff we've already talked about: edge walkers, disruptors, change in things, observation. Now, these often can be very old souls. And something else I want to share, and this is very nuanced. So when I looked through all of the history of my past clients, having connections or past lives in here, there is a common theme that the soul origins of these individuals often were very old souls, often in realms of angelic qualities, and also often connected to royal stars such as Famahat, Regulus, Antares. What's the third one? It's escaping my mind right now. Aldebaran. So they often were connected to either very angelic origins, or connected somehow to these royal stars. So I just want to take a moment to kind of tune in. Oh, okay, they're already answering, because I wanted to know why. I was curious if there was, because I tend to kind of be drawn to patterns. What I'm hearing is it is a high frequency that these beings often organically carry that is connected to a very spiritual, deep essence of knowing. Now, part of that is what I'm hearing for Alpha Centauris is embodiment. How can you take this recognition and embodiment into human form and into existence, into a container of physical matter? What I'm hearing, it's kind of like I'm also hearing them say this also is why Alpha Centaurians can have this recognition. It's kind of like, oh, there's something different about you. Like you, what makes you special? And it is this high frequency, angelic, godlike source frequency that is very especially close to their essence of being. Gosh, I feel like this could go so deep because I'm feeling so many different things. Because what I'm hearing is this is also not a thread specific to Alpha Centaurians, but it actually does go back further and tracks through the history. So even if you were to have your origins as angelic, chances are like you were each step was relevant in your journey. So you were Lyran, and that was significant, and you came down to this expression, and that's significant. But gosh, that's something that is very deep and very individualistic too. So if that's something that interests you, maybe consider going deeper into your Akashic records and your galactic astrology chart. Okay, so I'm just looking to see, I feel like all of my notes, are covered except for um, it's also said that they can be Nordic or Scandinavian type in appearance in genetics, that this is something in this life that may be passed down. This is information that can show up often, but it's not all the time and 100%. So I'm just kind of tuning in because I want to kind of see for appearance how they would describe expressive. Expressive, but to the point of relevance. So choosing physical, there is a significance to the choice of vessel, because once again, they're reminding me they're often mission-oriented incarnations. So there can be an element in both the past and present that there is an emphasis to the physical vessel and the genetics of the vessel that they choose. I'm also hearing, wow, this is also specific. There can be a theme related around the body. I'm asking them for more information on this. These may be individuals that are very physically capable. I'm hearing that you may carry also hardy bone structures. But there can also be they're saying bonding or a mending storyline related to the body. So, in appreciation of the body, themes of what your body is capable of, feeling held back by your body. They're saying also, as high frequency soul beings, there can be a tension related to the body feeling like it is. In a physical vessel or incarnation can be limiting to what they know the vessel, otherwise the essence is capable of, that this is another theme. Okay, so in all of this, if you want to summarize some of these SAR seed traits, you may be someone that feels talented, someone that is easily recognized, someone magnetic. There could be themes around your body in this life that you're working through. There could be themes around, like we talked about, being an edge walker, shifting things, changing things, disruption of systems. All of these things can be part of this quality. Now, another thing they're saying to me is they can be competitive, but they are less likely to be aggressive. They're not a galactic race that was very like warrior, like go out to war. Not unless it was required or necessary. They can step forward, but also as star seeds, this trait is coming through as you may have this strength, but you have this quality or emotional depth about you to have a higher perspective that you're probably in your lined expression, not someone to be kind of ruffling feathers just for the sake of ruffling. They're reminding me there is progression, there's, evolution, that this is important quality. Okay, awesome. Now let's really quick go. I want to show you how you can find out if you are connected to Alpha Centauri. Because here's the thing, it's super cool to know this information, but it's really cool when you can kind of like pull a chart up and say, up there it is. I've had a past life there. So if you're not familiar with galactic astrology, you can check out this video where I talk about it. And I'm going to show you in that video equally how to pull your chart and give even more information. So I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I share how it was founded by Julia Balaz, how you can pull your chart, and a lot of helpful information. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to real quick show you how to pull your free chart, and we're going to look for Alpha Centaurian placements to see how you can do that. So you want to go to galacticastrochart.com. And here, if you go to free reports, click free report. You're going to need to put your birth information. Now, this is something I've been sharing in all my videos. If you do not know the time of birth you were born, if you wanted to explore more about your soul's journey, if you book a session with me, my discovery session, which goes into your galactic astrology and past lives, part of this is I will do a brief, short video with you before your session to determine your rising. And this then is super helpful. I've had a great success rate with this with people. It's a wonderful feeling if you are someone that I'm like, oh, I don't know. It feels really good if you are curious about this stuff to kind of find that out. Okay, all you have to do is when you book, just let me know or email me, let me know, and I'll schedule that session with you. Okay, so now for filling this out, what you want to do is I like to change the house system to Placidus. I find that it is more specific and that it tends to be more relevant when you're getting into deep layers like past lives. You're going to put your birth information in here. All right, and where you were born, and you're going to hit generate chart. Now from here, you're going to want to scroll down. Don't worry about the top stuff, but I want you to click show trines, sextiles, squares, and show degrees. And then you can hit generate chart. Here, you're going to find all your good, beautiful information here that you are connected to. Now, what you want to look for is if you have had a past life, you're looking for a conjunction or opposition. These generally notate a conjunction, absolutely, an opposition often, that you have had a past life connected to that particular galactic race. Now, in my chart, I have not had a specific incarnated life on Alpha Centauri, but I have Beta Centauri. So I'm going to show you Beta right here. So this is, you can see conjunction to Beta Centauri, Hadar. So this says I absolutely have had a past life on Hadar. So if you've heard me talked a little bit about that and shared the video. So if you find that in your chart, you can then go look, watch the Hadar video. Maybe you resonate with that information. Now, I have had a connection with Alpha Centauri. I'll show you that here, connected to my Jupiter and 11th house, to Centaurus, a square to Alpha Centauri. Okay. Now I'm feeling inclined to elaborate on this. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but there it is. It's interesting because it's to the 11th house. and Jupiter, which is expansive. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Remember this square, okay? So, this is what I want to share. So, I want to give you kind of a glimpse of where you can kind of get a lot of information in galactic astrology. Because, as I said, if you have a conjunction or an opposition, that often notates you have a past life. Also, I've shared with you the characteristics of Alpha Centauri. Now, when you have something like a square, like I do, I have a connection, but I don't have a life, a physical, incarnated life there. Okay. Two things that I want to point out here. First is a lot of times I'll have people who have either done, like a QHH T hypnosis session, or they had a mystical experience and, they feel connected, or they, have some sort of experience and they're like, oh, I am connected to this galactic race. What I find is important to understand is just because you do not have a physical incarnated life, meaning I was birthed into on that, planet, star, in a physical vessel that was Alpha Centaurian. That does not mean you are not connected to some of these galactic races, because often what happens is your soul journey crosses paths with them, or they are in deep relationship with. I'm not surprised that having past lives on Beta Centauri, that somewhere along my soul's journey, I cross path with Alpha Centauri energy, especially also because when we're exploring galactic past lives, there is space travel. There are portals, and that's a whole nother, conversation to explore. But often in my client sessions, they come into contact with these different beings. So just because you may not have a conjunction does not mean you have not had an association of some sort with them. Now, I'll be honest, this particular square aspect that I have not dove into. But after just sharing this video, I find it interesting. I want to share a perspective. So, when there's a square, often there can be a theme of karma or resistance, or something that kind of was like, oh, I didn't exactly love it in that past life. Now, I find it interesting because I have this in a squared position to my 11th house, which is associated with the community, the collective. Okay. So I find it interesting because my journey has been, I have not felt confident or comfortable coming forward, speaking, doing these videos, sharing, being visible to the community, to the collective, and talking about galactic things. Even that alone. I have not, it's something that I have come to understand as part of my journey, and it resonates, but it was not comfortable. So a square position is saying, yes, these traits of Alpha Centauri, I might have had a past life connection where it's inspiring, encouraging me to do things differently. Don't be afraid to share. Don't be afraid to be seen. Don't be afraid to come forward, so others can see you. If you're hiding, they can't spot your talents. If you're not accessible, they're not going to know where your gifts are. So here there's this dynamic that suggests that part of my journey is, hey, Cassandra, come forward. Don't be afraid to be seen. Don't be afraid to embody that leadership, your gifts, or your, whatever it is, to share that with others, and that can be influential, or that can change lives or have a positive outcome in a community form. So I can say firsthand through multiple other connections in my chart that yes, that is absolutely a storyline that I have had to work through. So I don't know. I guess maybe it's time for me to explore that past life. They say sometimes the things you avoid are the things that you don't want to confront. So, anyways, all right. Well, I just wanted to share that because it is a lot of rich information. And it's one thing to listen to these starseed videos and say, oh yeah, I'm that. But man, is it neat to be like, oh, wow, that really resonates. And to be able to pull your chart and say, yes, I am connected in some capacity or another to this galactic race. So, all right. that is my video, and I hope that this has been helpful. And also, I want to mention if you want to, kind of have a quick recap of this information, check out my galactic resources. I'm going to link in the description where you can go and find other traits of different star races, like I mentioned, the Hadarians. And this is a tool I find that is helpful to kind of get information out there. So check that out. And if you do want to dive deeper, reach out to me, consider booking a session. It is life changing to unlock and understand on such a deep level who you are. And keep an eye out for my next video. I'm going to be talking about Hydra, which is also a less frequently discussed galactic race. So keep an eye out for that. I'll be releasing these videos on Tuesdays. So, yeah, until next time, bye.